Welcome back to the High Speed Garage podcast. I'm today's host, Hayden Chesser. I've got Michael Newton beside me, and beside him we've got Joel Mason. How you going, boys?
Not bad. How you going?
Good, mate.
Had a cracking week.
Yeah.
What'd you get up to in your day?
I didn't do too much this week, mate. I just what did I do? Saturday was probably the only day I did something. I worked sort of in the morning and then shot out to the butterfly farm for my brother-in-law's 30th birthday.
Got on the cans out at Butterfly Farm. That's a pretty good spot for some drinks.
Had a few. He had a couple of shop buckets too, and we went through a fair few of those things.
Do you guys have the dates for the garage sale they're doing out there?
No, but I could probably look that up for you.
Yeah, I saw Bob and Heather put that up the other day. I reckon that's a pretty good.
Yeah, that
way
would
to
be.
check some stuff out.
Yeah, the guys that, if you've got stuff sitting in your shed that
That's only next week or the week after.
wanted to get rid of.
I don't know. Wouldn't it be good if we had that on the go? I'd love to take some stuff down there. There's a whole heap of Dad's old race stuff for the boats and just bits.
I'm pretty sure it has to be this weekend or next weekend because I'm not here for it.
Oh, you already know that you're out.
Yeah.
Yeah, rightio.
Yeah, I'm looking it up here. Where are we? Oh, here it is. The 5th of April. 5th of April, they're having a boat show / garage sale.
I don't know if they've got a bar going on down there or not, but there was talk about beers.
There's always beers with them lot.
Yeah, with them guys, there's always a few beers, so I would assume so. If there's not a bar on, I guess you could take your own.
Was beers going down? Was there a good amount of beers disposed of down at Trent's thing?
Shit, yeah. But everyone brought their own to that. It wasn't like an open bar or nothing like that. Just bring your own. But yeah, I took the old standard squeeze and a heap of cans of Coke and polished off pretty much a bottle of bourbon.
Those standard squeezes are good.
They
You're
are
consistent all the way through.
They are good. Yeah,
Stop me getting blind.
I'm a shocker for that. I used to go out on the piss and take a bottle of alcohol and a bottle of mixer, come home with an empty bottle of alcohol and half a bottle of mixer, and then wonder why I was crook as shit.
Because they just get stronger and stronger.
Yeah, and you forget. You just start to not taste it.
You sort of got to get a line on the mixer point in your standard squeeze, so you're going to the right spot.
The standard squeeze is easy because there's just one shot up the top. If you want to double, you just squeeze the thing twice. It's perfect.
Can't fuck up 30 mils because it goes back down into the bottle.
Yeah. A lot of people hadn't seen them before, and they all thought it was a sick idea. They're like, "That's the best idea ever."
Well, it just looks like you're mixing up two-stroke, doesn't it?
Well, that's what everyone kept asking. They kept saying, "Oh, you like outboards that much? You're getting into two-stroke." I said, "No, mate, she's a roundup bottle." Like trying to poison myself.
Just sloosh a bit of water out of it, throw it out, start filling it with bourbon.
Yeah, she's all good.
And you just run a can of Coke?
Yeah. It's just normally when I go to something like that, I'll take like premix stuff just because it's easy. You just go to the esky, pull it out, open it, and start drinking. But I had a shitload of bottles at home of straight spirit, so I just took that and a few cans of Coke.
Yeah, copy.
That's all I did for the weekend though. I didn't really get up to much.
Yeah, no, I as I was saying last week, I got the kids down to the Bikes and Bulls at the Clarendon.
Oh yeah, how was that
show? That's down behind where they got the horse racing.
Yeah.
Next on the side of the road.
On the other side of the road, yeah. No, it was actually really good. I was pretty keen on just sitting down and chilling. The kids, I didn't think the kids were going to like it that much. They enjoyed watching the rodeo, but then all of a sudden there's bloody fireworks and shit all over the place, and
that's
dudes doing backflips on motorbikes while the rodeo's going on. Like,
so was it a full rodeo? So it wasn't just like buck and bulls.
It was buck and bulls.
Yeah. But was there like the barrel races and that sort of stuff as well?
No. Man, Amanda was talking about how she was pretty keen on watching the drum races and stuff like that. So I'd say we've sold the kids. They're pretty keen on doing another go. So when a good rodeo, like a full rodeo, not just the show rodeo, comes town, I reckon we'll get onto that.
So it was pretty like an action-filled night. There was stuff going on all the time.
Yeah, the whole time.
Because we went to
a
PBR. A PBR one there, the same thing, and I found it a little boring.
Really?
Because all that was going on was just the buck and bulls. There was nothing else. So they had about I don't know, 5 or 6 gates set up with bulls in them. But, you know, you ride a bull only goes for 8 seconds if you ride it.
It was constant too.
Well, it wasn't. It sort of
for
wasn't,
a while. And
it was constant for sort of the 6 bulls or 5 bulls that they had set up in the gates. But once they all got turfed off and went out the back, it was kind of boring for the next half an hour while they set the next set of 6 bulls up in the gate.
Yeah, well,
and then they'd fire them off in quick succession again. But then you'd have to wait again for it to fill up. There was nothing sort of in between to take up those gaps, which I thought was a bit average.
Yeah. They're doing that with the Origin series that they do with the PBR, New South Wales.
Yeah, right.
Queensland.
Yeah, I was going to say they did the exact same. The Origin series they did for that. They did that up at Clarendon. New South Wales obviously got smacked. Don't know.
They do every time. They haven't. I think they've only won one.
Yeah, no. In the Bikes and Bulls show, they said, well, New South Wales was up on the first round, and they said, if New South Wales wins this, then this will be the first time in a long time that they've won it, and then, joke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we know any of the bike riders? Are they local dudes or?
No, there was mostly from like Tamworth, Cobar sort of way. They didn't say anyone from around here, but then there was Carmichael. There was a dude Carmichael, and I think someone Marshall, but it wasn't like it was like surnames you understood, like you recognised, but there was this. It wasn't the same person.
Yeah, okay.
So whether that was a show name or not, I don't know.
Yeah,
very well could have been, but
it's pretty. We're getting a bit old now for all the people we used to know doing the freestyle.
Yeah, they're all
like
watching
with Minnie and all of them, and
yeah,
Bilko and that. They're all over. Well, Bilko's still doing it for Nitro, but all the other older like Minnie and that come from like Newey way. I'd assume they might be still doing it, but not.
Yeah, not competition sort of thing, just going chilling or cruising. Then they did backflip, like tandem backflips, like one after the other.
Oh, yeah.
Train.
There's about 3 of them up in the air at once. Kids thought that was sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emma's turned around looking at me going, holy shit, what's going on? This is mad. So once the Bulls did their round.
So when are you buying them dirt bikes?
Oh, man, I should have dirt bikes already for the kids.
There's one for sale. Buy Riley's one.
Yeah, Riley. I don't know if it's sold or not.
No, it wasn't sold the other day.
Matt's got bikes up at Mum and Dad's place. They've had bikes up there for years, and I've taken them rides and on the side-by-sides and stuff like that. They're always frothing that, but haven't bought them a bike yet. Probably should.
Get them into. I need to get mine one too.
Well, you've got a decent backyard to get them to do laps and then take them down to Dargle.
Yeah, I'd just take them straight to Dargle. It would be easier for them to fang around. They've already ridden bikes around there, but not their own. So I need to get them one.
Too much shit in your shed to put any more bikes in.
Oh yeah.
How many more toys do you need?
Heaps.
Need more sheds. More sheds.
Yeah. So that was that. I got to come out to you where you boys are at the what's called Bly Park Tav. That joint's changed. Last time I was there, it was just this little dingy little corner. Now they've taken up the whole gym next door to it, and that kids area is humongous. Dude.
Yeah, and it's mad awesome. Too. Like if you're sitting in like not the outdoor part where the playground is, but you can sit inside and watch the big ass TVs with the massive
humongous.
Like that whole wall is like glass, so you can see the kids, but you can't hear them.
Yep. They can go out there and scream as much as they want. Yeah. No, we were out there celebrating my little brother's second child.
Oh yeah,
second year old, 2-year-old kid. Yeah, he had a fat time.
Yeah, that's where we went for Alira's birthday too, just because all the kids can go and fang in that.
Yeah, they can go and
shut them in the room.
Yep.
Yeah,
they can go cause chaos and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yep. But they always end up coming back in and going, "Oh, come out and play," and I'm just wanting to have a schooner burger and have a chat.
We went there on Sunday with the kids as well, and they started mucking up a little bit because they were going out to the playground, and we sort of were sitting in a spot where we kind of couldn't see them constantly the whole time. We could see the playground, but we couldn't see the kids like the whole time. So they kind of knew that, or they worked that out, and they've got like a little games room as well with like the air hockey tables and all that sort of stuff.
Trying to run in there and spend some money.
So when we weren't watching them in the big playground, they'd sneak out and go into the games room and think they're playing in there. They had no money to play anything, but yeah, they'd just sneak off.
The question always ends up, oh, can I get some dollars and I'll...
Yeah.
Mate, go out there.
Yeah, no. There's a big slippery dip
I've
there.
got heaps of money to spend on schooners here. You can go and play there.
$8 $8.50 a schooner. You're not getting shit.
I tried that. I've got bloody some bourbon and Coke thing on tap there. That's the worst thing I've ever drunk.
I didn't try it. I just seen they had stubbies of JD there, and I was straight into that. Because
Yeah.
most places these days you got to buy cans, and I hate cans.
Yeah, no, it was all flat. That was crap. The beer was awesome, but yeah, it was all bloody flat off the tap. It was crap.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, no, nothing worse than flat Coke.
That beer is on par with the Leagues Club down here for good beer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, cold beer, good bubbles, good afternoon. How'd you end up going, Joel?
Yeah, I did. I went away camping for my little brother's. My youngest brother, my little brother, both little.
Well,
both younger than me.
One's taller.
One might not be.
Actually, I think James is taller than a lot of us.
Shit.
We knock him down a couple of pegs every now and again. Yeah, we went away camping to Lake Sinclair, which is sort of up at Singleton Way. We do that every year for him because he likes going up. We go for a ski and dick around. But to start with, I sort of started setting my van up in caravan on Thursday night. I thought I just went and did my shopping and put it all away so I could come home and leave straight away on Friday. Walked in and chucked my stuff in the fridge and then put a bit of stuff in the freezer and I was like, what the fuck's my icebox melted? I was like, oh, my fridge just shit itself. I started looking around and went, oh, hang on. Yeah, we check some battery voltage. Start at the bottom. And yeah, I'd shit a battery. So I stuffed around.
Starting at the bottom.
Yeah. I was lucky I caught it because the fridge was only 8 degrees, so it's only just gone off like within hours.
Oh, beautiful.
So, but the battery was red hot. It was 52 degrees or something. Got my thermometer out and checked it. So I was like stuffed around and made a couple of phone calls to.
What do you reckon done the battery?
I was just old.
Just old, yeah.
Just dropped a cell, I'd say.
Yeah.
Because they're only AGMs, so they're not. There's nothing to them.
Yeah.
They drop a cell and they're just done. They just can't hold the charge and they just overcharge themselves and whatnot. So I was like, oh yeah, one's done. The other one was good. Still was reasonably good. Come back to voltage and whatnot. So I was like, oh yeah. I had a spare one, older battery in the shed. So I was like, oh yeah, I need a bit more power. Throw that in there.
So
charge them up.
Took the spare one.
Put the spare one in.
Replaced that.
Replaced that battery. Took that battery out. Replaced it. So I'll chuck it on charge. Now I've packed the van, so I've wasted an hour and a half. So
always happens when you're trying to get out at a decent time.
Yeah. Well, it was Thursday night.
Yeah.
Packed the van. And I finished work I didn't get home till 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it was a shit go because last week we recorded on the Wednesday.
Yeah.
So he got nothing done on the Wednesday.
Yeah.
And Thursday he gets home from work.
Well, it's probably a godsend. Because if I did it on the Wednesday, I would not have checked the van Thursday.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I would have just hooked it up Friday and just catch us later.
Yeah.
I would have got up there and went, well, who's got a fucking fridge and some Eskies that I can have? I know my beer's going to be cold because that's in the back of my ute.
That's in
another fridge.
Is that sort of your caravan telling you should have bought that flash battery up at Hinton?
Yeah, basically, yeah. Pretty much. And they're still not for sale.
Really?
No.
Okay, so that was just a concept.
Is that what you was going to buy one of them?
Yeah, I researched it and found them, and there's nothing. They haven't built them yet, or there's nothing anywhere.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, cool.
Because that's what I would have ended up getting that one, but yeah, it didn't pan out. So I got an ATG there from Perth, Australian built thing. So sure, I've gone from 200 amps to 314.
Oh.
Not mucking around anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, and anyways, so I did all that Thursday night. Went, yeah, we're sweet. Charged batteries, and then went, I'll just check it Friday morning before I go to work. Didn't wake up any earlier. Probably should have. In hindsight, gone out there and looked and felt the battery, and the other battery that was already in there, not the swapped one, was stinging hot too. I was like, you're fucking kidding.
Cook 2 of them.
So right up, pulled that one apart, pulled all the wiring back off it, put it on the other battery, and went, we're good to go.
That's all I've got.
hope.
That's all I've got for the weekend.
But I turned, because because the whole van's 12 volt, I don't need
Inverters or anything.
powers or inverters, nothing. The fridge is 12 volt, the whole lot. So on Thursday night, I plugged it into 240 power, so the fridge turned on and didn't have to disrupt any battery power. So that was sweet. And then, got home, went righto. Everything's good Friday afternoon, working catches later. Put it into Waze, singing up the putty. Like, can we go on putty?
Checking out our bike routes that we could potentially take.
Yeah, she's a long one. These 160 Ks before you get a turn off.
Yeah, that's a good trip.
Yeah.
You know, the putty road, you always think, oh, it's not that far to get to the other end, and then you put it in the GPS, you're like, oh shit.
It's 2 hours with the caravan. I could do it a bit quicker without the caravan because you got to slow down a bit.
I've certainly done it a lot quicker.
It's I think I've done it in 2 hours from here to Singleton.
With the van on?
Nah, I think I had a boat on the back.
Oh, righto.
Yeah, I think that's about right. Someone else has told me that. I can't remember who it was because they quizzed which way I went to Taree when we go racing. I said, oh, we just come up the coast. But he was a local Taree guy, and when he comes down to Windsor, he goes to, well, I think he lives at Singleton.
Singleton,
but he said it's like almost
it's quicker.
Quick to go from Taree, drive to Singleton, and then go down the putty to come to Windsor.
Well, in Waze, I put in Waze just because, I've been using Waze heaps with me and you, Michael, talking just to see what's different and what's better ways, and it tells you where the cops are too, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to keep that up.
Yeah.
Keep the community working.
And and it was 15 minutes faster to go out the putty on the way up.
Yep.
Which is a Friday afternoon. You'd assume traffic shit.
Yeah, get out of the traffic on the M1.
So I was like, that's definitely where I'm going. And even still coming back, there's no reception at Lake St Clair either. So you don't get reception until you get back into Singleton.
Okay.
Which is whatever. So once we got back in there, I put it back in Waze, and it still told me to go to the putty, and it was 12 minutes faster still going down the putty on a Sunday.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But traffic, I didn't go down the putty because it was raining, and I was like, fuck that. I've got 2.5 ton van behind me.
Yeah, with the van in the back, it's a bit different.
Yeah. I still come down, and the traffic was shit. Standard Sydney shit.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, so we got there. 9 o'clock Friday night. Few beers. Dicked around. And then Saturday, what did we do Saturday? I went for a ski. I didn't ski because I've loaned my ski to me mate fucking Warmsley.
Who took the boat up to go skiing?
James took his Malibu.
Oh yeah. Oh, so he slept in his car?
No, that's Dad's.
Oh,
that's Dad's car.
So what did he sleep in? Your van?
He slept in his swag. I assumed all week I'd either have Olivia or James ringing me. Can I sleep in your bunks?
And no one rang.
And no one rang. James slept in the Prado. Olivia slept in the Prado.
So you filled the bunks up with beer?
No, that fits in the fridge. 60 cans fits in my fridge. 2 days, 60 cans. That's pretty good. Yeah, I assumed like Olivia or James was ringing me through the week. Can I stay in the van? Whatever. Yeah, there's
heaps
bunks.
of them,
Yeah.
Bunks are made. Yeah, no. James slept in his swag and Olivia slept in the Prado.
Yeah,
They
right.
clearly have slept in the same vicinity as you and don't like you snoring.
Oh, maybe. Brilliant. Because James used me van at Mungo.
Yeah. He probably didn't want to get flogged for using your toilet.
Yeah, well, probably not. I use it. Just empty the fucking thing.
Yeah. You just got to keep them clean.
Or he just didn't empty. He got fucking Laurie Canduso to empty it. It was full.
And then still pissed and shit in it afterwards, and you had to empty it before you went to Sinclair.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, no, you got to do better than that.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, we skied and whatnot and
Not
stuff
when it's your
around.
brother.
James don't give 2 fucks. He's basically one of us.
If you want to use it again.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I said to him. But yeah, no, we skied and fucking around, and then we got our little motor control boats out, little 40-inch Everinghams, Omen engines and whatnot in them, and went and had a little play with that. Mine's still shit.
The three of you have got them, eh?
Yeah. Well, Brennan's on his second one in a matter
that's
of
right.
an hour of using it.
He totaled one.
Fully totaled
Christmas
it.
time up at
The boat
Mungo.
was all right, wasn't it? It was just the engine that got destroyed.
No.
Or
No,
the
that's
bloke-
the second time.
Yeah.
So they run him in the creek. Dad's got a creek.
Yeah.
Dad backs onto the creek. So they'll run him in that when they're brand spanking new. 5 minutes old. Wouldn't even be 5 minutes old. James was running around. Oh, no, Brendan was running around. And James threw his out. And they've got to turn right. And it's a hard concept to get when they've got to turn right. When you, I don't know why. Used to turn left. So James was throwing his out and gone to turn sort of left or right and went straight across the track and boom, straight over the top. Shits everywhere.
So it wasn't Brennan that stuffed up. It was James.
Yeah. I think it might have been. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was that way. But then that's not even. That was just like a little.
That was just the
cosmetic.
That
thing.
wasn't.
That's
the
nothing.
damage. Okay.
So then they fix that, run back around, and then Brendan's gone. They've crashed into each other again, I think. And Brendan's has gone up and over, flipped and landed on a retaining wall, bang, smack in the bottom of the boat, and split it in half. So that's done for the day. And then they're running James around. And then I think, I wasn't there, but I think they said James has run out of receiver or something and gone flat out up the other side of the creek, upside down, skidding across the road. And then so they fixed that and then just banged into a pole and it's got shit hanging off, the decks hanging off. So they've re-glassed everything and they've come good. And then I've bought Brennan's older one, which is painted up with Desperado colours, a yellow one. And we're running around the creek. And Brendan didn't have his there because we just went there for dinner. And that was all good. We're all good. Yeah, right. Put mine away and put James away. So we're going to Mungo over Christmas. And we did a little day.
Didn't they lock engines up before that?
Oh, yeah, that's right. They've gone to Lake St Clair after that. Or before that, anyways. And they didn't mix the oil properly. Mixed it at like 20 to 1 or something. Or 15 to 1. Wouldn't have been 5 minutes singing. Just boom.
Yeah, it would have been going pretty well.
I think Brennan's threw a rod and James is locked up or vice versa or something. So that's 5 minutes in of engine time.
I'm going to be loving that.
Yeah. So they bought 2 brand new engines. And then we went to Mungo at Christmas. And then Brennan's got run wide. And then it run out of reception. And just singing at 100 mile an hour. I do about 60 Ks, I reckon.
Up the bank, smacked
a tree. Bang, square into a tree.
Far out.
Snapped it even worse than what it was. So 100 mile an hour, taped it.
I can just hear Brendan's laugh when it happens.
Nah, he wasn't laughing.
Oh, really? That wasn't a...
Not with that one. He was.
Not with that one.
He got run wide and put out of range.
Yeah,
so.
and it's fucking like it smacked a tree, metre in the air, 5 metres up the bank.
I would hope that was on video.
No, it's too far away. And so we've gone and got it. And there's a video of it coming back with Laurie over it with the sheet. Like it's dead, it's fucking done. And then we taped it up, 100 mile an hour, taped up, and he ran it.
Obviously, all the running gear was all still good.
Yeah,
just the boat was
bent,
dinged up.
And then was the final.
Mm.
Yeah, so we had like a race sort of a program, and then the final, he's singing down the front straight, and it just delaminates, and just goes. Boom,
Oh, no.
Grabs water, shifts off, sorry, rips the deck off.
The deck flies, and the boat just goes to nothing. There was barely any splash, nothing.
Oh.
Just boom.
And lucky it was in shallow water because the boat was on the bottom.
Oh, it didn't float at all.
It was all
smashed into bits.
Smashed into bits.
Come back and it had bottom of the boat bearers.
I was running towards it because I could see a little bit floating, but it was the deck with a bit of, I think it had a bit of pool noodle stuck to it or something.
Yeah, it might have.
Which is why that was floating. I thought it was the whole boat, but it was just like sunk down to water level sort of thing. And as I got there, I went, oh, that's only the deck. And then I looked down and here's this like half a mangled boat on the bottom.
So from the front of the
it was
engine,
only about waist deep,
left.
so you could reach down and get it.
But we've learnt from that, sort of.
Don't tape them up.
No, well, that too. But so we've got to tie our flotation to the bearers, not just have it up tucked under the deck, or do it to the engine, something that's fucking valuable. Because they're about $3,000.
The engines,
the whole fucking boat,
setup,
yeah.
Oh look, they're a good bit of gear.
Yeah.
They're fun to watch. I don't have one, but I love watching them.
I love watching them because I'm not paying for
that's same.
Well,
if you don't, you can crash into each other and you hurt some propellers, but it's the only thing you can hurt is the propeller, really, because in the turn fins are just one bolt. Didn't
sound like Brennan just hurt a propeller.
Well, that's a different story. Don't crash into a tree.
Sounds like he's had like 3 accidents and the thing's totaled each time.
Don't crash into a tree and don't run in Dad's Creek.
And use the right fuel.
All the way,
yeah. Clayton Hart's beach down at...
that's where Brendan got onto him,
Yeah, down at Wilberforce they have raced weekends, and I've been down there a couple of times with my brother Matt. He always had he had a few hydros and stuff like that. He had I think it's because Zenoa.
That's what Oman does, yeah.
The one that the boys over in New Zealand, KRB, built with the stick boat. Matt had one of them. That was cranky.
Yeah. Well, the Zenoa's the engine.
Yeah, but I remember the name of the boat was sort of close to that as well.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, awesome things, and great weekend down there.
Yeah, that's the invitation only.
Yeah, you've got to be.
You can't have a boat there.
What's that?
You can't get in with a boat. You can go and sort of, like you've got family there.
Yeah.
So you can sort of sneak in and have a look. Yeah, she's very strict of invitation only. No one knows the weekend.
Yeah, they don't want random people down there. No.
They don't tell anyone the weekend.
No.
We got down there one weekend because Brendan was there.
Yeah.
We sort of didn't sneak in, but got the okay. Yeah, you can come and watch them. We just took my boat down and watched and whatnot. Yeah, I've been trying to. Can I come too? Right, yeah. Other than that, we fucked around and the dam's highs. Don't know how a dam gets to 110%. Doesn't keep releasing, but dam's at 110%.
I thought 100% was like max.
No, 110.
Well, 100% is obviously what they want it to run at. At the moment, it's over their maximum or something like that. Mate.
Well, they built.
I just assumed the top of the wall was at 100.
No, they don't. No, the top wall's heaps higher than 100. But they built these chairs, like tables and chairs, awnings over them, slabs and whatnot on the front side, and the bottoms are 100%. And you're sitting in water.
Yeah, right.
On the seats.
That would have been nice on a hot day.
Yeah, that's pretty good. We normally camp around that side, but the bank sort of slope goes
where the
chairs are and then tips up. It was good.
Yeah, okay.
I saw a bit of rain on Sunday.
Yeah.
But nothing that was detrimental to anything. But overcast and what, so I wasn't steaming hot.
Yeah, it was pretty good ground. Yeah, it wasn't shit at all.
No, it was good weekend. Yeah. Yep.
But so other than that, it was a good weekend up there.
No, man. So did you get into a bit of F1 over the weekend, or?
I went to the pub. I got home Sunday and we went to the pub.
Yeah, we went to the Bly Park
tab.
Got a pretty cool sound grab from the F1 over the weekend. What do you got, Nuno?
Oscar Piastri wins the Chinese Grand Prix. Who's going to finish second?
Lando Norris. Yeah, what a bloody awesome weekend for Aussies watching Formula One. I'm not going to worry about practice, but they over there they run a sprint series as well. So sprint qualifying, Mr. Hamilton in the Ferrari, he got his first sprint pole for the year. I don't know.
I got a little excited when I seen that. I thought, he's going to turn it on this weekend. It's going to be good.
Exactly what I thought. I've never really been a big fan of Hamilton. I just sort of thought he's just a bit weird bloke and like being the top, you sort of want someone else to win.
Australians are like that, aren't they?
Yeah, I know.
Someone wins all the time. We start to not like that person because we want someone else to win.
Yeah, that's right. I think it's a bit silly, but like clearly Lewis can steer. Like
Oh
It's
yeah, they all can.
Yeah.
You
Good
don't.
drivers.
You know, there's. You know, it's a bit rude to call them average drivers in F1, but they're not really average. They're just average compared to the other guys they're competing against. They're still better than most other people because you don't get a go in there unless you are talented.
Well, it's quite obvious seeing the issues that Liam Lawson's dealing with at the moment. Like, he is an incredible driver that was doing really well in the Racing Bulls last year, jumps into being Max's teammate, and he's straight away struggling.
I seen a thing today on socials. They put up a little graph, and they were comparing teammates' times. So, like, the
Max versus this bloke.
Well, no, not like the comparison between like the two McLarens, the two Ferraris, the two Mercedes, the two Red Bulls, and the Red Bulls was the worst by a long way.
Big time, yeah. When you've got Max,
I think actually, Doohan and Gasly were like in the top 3 for the two closest cars together.
Yeah, radio. Yeah, Doohan. Everyone was sort of saying, he's only got a couple of events to prove himself. Man, he was falling around one between him and Gasly all weekend.
He was doing all right. He got a heap of penalties.
Were they all his driving, though?
Oh, well, let's just follow the leader, so I'd assume so. He got a heap of curbs and whatnot.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that sucks then.
Yeah. He didn't do... He did all right racing-wise.
Yeah.
I think he was doing a fair few curb ops.
Yeah, rightio. Yeah, well, Lewis qualified on pole for the sprint qualifying, then Max Verstappen, Oscar Piastri, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, then Lando. Then had Mercedes, Kimi Antonelli in 7th. I reckon that's pretty cool. He's a rookie. He's already up racing in the front circle.
He's the top rookie by a long way, isn't he?
Oh, and yeah, he's just keeping his mouth shut.
Even in the GPs, not even in the sprints, in the GPs, he's still doing well.
Yep.
He's pretty high in the end, wasn't he?
Then Yuki Tsunoda, he's in 8th. I'd like to see there's a bit of talk about Liam Lawson and Yuki Tsunoda swapping over, and Yuki Tsunoda sort of throwing his voice around saying that he'll go faster in the Red Bull car, and it'll be interesting to see if they do swap them around. If Yuki does go well in the Red Bull and Liam does go well in the Racing Bull, realistically, that's a smart decision anyway. Like, if they both can suit the different car better, mate, they're on a run then.
Red Bull are going to need another decent driver because, Max is never ever going to win a Constructors on his own.
That's right.
And if they're struggling with the car and Max is struggling to compete,
he needs someone
not like he was, at the start of last year. He'll leave the team and the team will be in dire straits.
Right. Yeah, that's right. I heard something about. I know it might have been a piss take from Zach Brown, who's from McLaren. He was throwing a bit of words around, saying that Mercedes is chasing him. But then, who do you replace at Mercedes? You've got 2 really good drivers already in there. Why would you change? I know Max Verstappen's good, but who do you replace?
Well, yeah.
It doesn't matter. Just kick whoever's not performing it. They do it all year.
Yeah. It's crap.
You could have a 10-year contract and it doesn't matter, you're gone.
If Red Bull don't perform by the end of the year, I wouldn't be surprised to see Max in a different car.
Yeah.
Yeah, very possible, yeah.
I reckon Ferrari would probably buy him.
Oh, get rid of Leclerc and have
Lewis. Even if get rid of Hamilton.
Oh, they wouldn't get rid of Hamilton now.
I don't reckon they do that.
Nah, man. You see the podium.
Fuck if he doesn't perform.
He's already performing. He bloody won the sprint race.
That don't mean shit. They fucking got disqualified anyway, and he was still way down behind Max.
No. He won the sprint race. That was clean out, and then in the GP, they were both up the back. The only reason Leclerc was ahead of him was he pushed him ahead. Hamilton said,
"Yeah,
Leclerc, you got send Leclerc out in front of me."
The team said let him pass. Yeah.
No, it's actually come out that Lewis initiated that.
Yeah, right.
because he said Leclerc's got less downforce, he's faster. Like he got
Yeah.
just off the start, the front wing broke off.
Yeah.
And there he is going, actually going well.
Yeah.
They had the replacement
Just bang
front
the other
wing.
side and snap the other side off.
They had the replacement front wing in the pits ready to go,
Yeah.
and they're like,
And he
no,
was-
leave it on.
He was it was more than a second slower in his pit stop too.
No, that was Piastri.
Piastri, was it?
Yeah, Piastri's the stop time in the pit stop was like
3.8.
a second and a half slower than his teammate.
That's right. That's what it was.
I was like, that's a
no
rip
good.
off.
Yeah.
It was 3.8 by 2.4
Yeah,
or
something
something like that.
Yeah.
Stop time.
It was like it was a second and a half basically.
Yeah.
When you're talking F1, that's big numbers. When you're talking normal life, that's nothing, man.
Considering everyone else was around the
2.5.
2.3,
yeah.
2.4, 2.5, and then Oscar's
Talk
one's like
those.
3.8. It's like,
it's
man,
big numbers.
what
on,
the hell?
on that? Yeah. So in the sprint, the actual race, you had Lewis winning, then Oscar Pistorius. I mean, Piastri come up in second.
that's a bad muck up.
Yeah.
You don't want to say that
no.
name too many times.
How often do you hear that name and think of that?
I don't, but
How many times have you heard it?
I've said Oscar Piastri a few times, and people are like, "Is that the bloke that shot his missus?"
Yeah. So it's I've heard it multiple times. I said that as a joke, but I've heard it multiple times.
You can't say it's a joke now.
No, I've said it a few times. Obviously not here, but so Oscar come in second, then Verstappen, then Russell and Leclerc in the top five. Then in the qualifying for the GP, Mr. Piastri nearly did it. Mr. Piastri on pole for the GP, which was pretty cool. George Russell, Lando Norris, Max Verstappen, and Lewis Hamilton in fifth. Then in the final, in the GP, we finished off with Oscar Piastri led from start to finish. Lando Norris come up into second. George Russell come into third. Max Verstappen in fourth. Ocon in fifth. Antonelli in sixth. Albon seventh. Behrman eighth. Lance Stroll ninth. And Carlos Sainz in 10th. But in saying that, the two Ferraris, Hamilton and Leclerc, finished. I don't remember what.
I think that was
it's
sixth and
and
seventh.
seventh,
was it?
or fifth and sixth.
Yeah, so
one of the two.
they went across the line in the top 10, but unfortunately they got done for both of them being overweight, underweight. The Hamilton had low fuel. I think it was
Maybe they needed the leaky water in there from last week.
the leaky water.
Yeah.
Didn't even hear about that.
Yeah, Leclerc had leaky water, remember?
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
It was on the radio. He said,
Yeah.
I must have a leakage of something.
Oh, just the rain was getting.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh, what's leaking? He's like, oh, my seat's full of water. And then they're like, it must be the water. and then,
I've got
he
a
says
leak.
something
It
like,
must
oh,
be the
we'll,
water.
we'll put that down to words of wisdom or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Leclerc got.
That's why they made weight last week. It was full of water.
I can't remember. One of them got done for the scuff at the back. The scuff plate at the back was worn down too much, and then one of the others was some other. I can't even remember. Bloody hell, I had that. Anyway, so
They both got disqualified.
yeah, they kept on saying that it was because of the tyres, but I heard something today that the tyres only lose a kilo over the whole run. So,
I think it was it Gasly that got pinned for? Yeah, he got pinned for the same thing, like the underbody.
Oh,
really?
yeah, right.
Yeah, okay.
I think so.
Yeah, well, Fernando Alonso.
I was going to say, that's not a
DNF.
bad
That's
finish for Alonso for bailing out from 4 on your brakes in lap 6.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, he said no brakes and he just cruised it back.
Yeah, I seen.
Brakes were on fire or something stupid like that.
I remember
Oh, lap
seeing
4, there
it
you go.
because there wasn't no sound when we were watching it at the Blythe Park Hotel, and all I seen was smoke coming out the back of the car,
Yeah, right.
and I was like, oh, that thing's shit an engine, and I thought that's going to make it interesting on the track. Shit everywhere. People be sliding around.
Yeah, it always causes an accident when the oil's on the ground.
Yeah, but there was nothing there, so nothing happened.
Very
so
lucky.
It makes sense to be brakes.
Yeah, so Oscar Piastri got pole and a win. That was Chinese F1.
Yeah, those McLarens, they're way ahead of everyone else, aren't they?
Yeah,
they were doing that pretty easy.
Yeah, there was no challenge.
And even with the rain last week, Lando still ran off the track, but he just kept it together when he come back on and won quite easily.
Yeah.
And I dare say if Oscar didn't muck it up when he come back on, he would have been right behind him as well.
Yeah. Disappointing, but yeah, it was good to see him get his first win for the year.
Good stuff.
So you were going to talk a bit about MotoGP from last week?
Yeah. So it was actually the week before, but I only just got time to watch it this week. Marquez won. Well, Mark Marquez won. He hasn't been beaten yet this year in the sprint races or the GPs. His brother was second again, and I think Bagnaia was third again. So yeah, that it looks at the moment like Mark is just toying with the rest of the field. He was behind his brother for a fair bit of the GP, and I seen a thing on the socials when they were walking to the podium. He was having a little joke together. Obviously, they're brothers. They can joke pretty well. And he Mark says to his brother, "Oh, do you want to play some mind games?" His brother just looks at him and giggles. He goes, "You've led more GP laps this year than I have," and he's still not winning because he led most of the round one, and then he led probably most of round two, and then a couple laps to go, Mark just passes him and goes, "Oh, I'll just finish first here today, thanks."
Well, realistically, you only need to lead the last lap.
You do. It was just funny how they were getting into each other. They're funny blokes, them too. They're all over TikTok and that, doing all TikTok dances and whatever.
Oh, really?
They're all pretty funny. They love a little party. I seen one of their TikTok things. There was because they ride for two different teams. They're both Ducatis, but they ride for two different teams. And the team that Alex rides for this year, Mark rode for last year. So there's obviously, they all know each other. But there was a thing with them in the pits, and they're all, I think the DJ must have been playing upstairs or whatever, and they could all hear the music down in pit lane, and the whole teams, like both teams, have mixed together, and they're all jumping around doing their dances. Even the old dude, like that owns the Ducati team, and that he was even in there like jumping up.
Yeah, it's good
he's a
seeing
really
that.
old dude. Yeah, it was pretty cool. But yeah, the next round's this weekend actually, so I'll get into watching that, and then I'll give you a report back. Oh, Miller, I think finished like 14th. He was a fair way down. I don't think any of the Yamahas were any good. I think he might have been the top Yamaha.
Was he actually, like, Yamaha is actually proven that they're actually going to really struggle?
Oh, it looks like it. Well, they've got a former world champion in Fabio Quartararo riding for them, and he's been riding for Yamaha for a long time, and he's like down the list too. So the Yamahas don't. Well, pretty much lately, the last few years, unless you're on a Ducati, you're sort of not really anywhere. But the Honda looked pretty good of Zarco last week. I think he finished 5th or something, which was pretty good for a Honda. Like, it's been a while. So Marc Marquez won all these world championships with Honda, and he stuck with Honda for ages, and he ended up, overriding the bike and crashing and all that because the bike couldn't compete with the Ducatis. And then he eventually made the decision to move to a Ducati team, and then bam, he went straight back top. I think he finished 3rd in the championship last year, and it looks like he's the man to beat this year.
That's good.
So
good to see a good rider.
Sucks for Honda, but anyway, be nice if there was some other manufacturers that could compete with Ducati, but there is a shitload of Ducatis in the field too, though.
It happens across all bike sports, but they sort of go up and down. They think they've got it for a while, and they don't do much development.
Well, it wasn't that long ago that the Ducatis have always been fast. They've always had good top speeds, but they struggled to find riders that could ride the Ducati because
could handle it.
Most people that would jump off your your Hondas or your Yamahas, the Ducati just spit them off. The first bloke to do it and win a championship, I think, was Casey Stoner on a Ducati, and he had some weird riding techniques that probably worked well for the Ducati, and then it took him a long time. It took Ducati a long time to get another championship after that. So, but now I think because there's so many of them, it's they've worked out how to corner the things as well as have good speed. I think they're just hard to beat. Yeah, well, especially if you've got more than a couple on the track at the same time, you can sort of try a little bit here, a little bit there. Yeah, it's cool watching testing. I've watched testing a couple of years, and when they jump on those bikes, they just generally they're just plain black bikes or carbon bikes with different wings. There's no stickers or nothing on the side, and watching them fang around on them's pretty good. Like to see next year's, because they didn't normally test. So at the end of the season, they test straight away on that track for next year. So the week after the GP finishes, you can watch testing. Yeah, you can go back to back. Yeah. So, okay, well that was good. And you can see people jump in teams and whatnot. Like, if someone's jumping from a Yamaha to a Honda, and you can see how well they go on that bike. Yeah, and from last week. Yeah, it's cool seeing all the different little wings and things that go on the fairings and that. That's like the changes that they make through the bikes through the year that don't get seen until testing because they can't bring them out. Yeah, right. Then they test it all for however long in the off season, and then whatever works, they bring it out for the start of the next year. Now, there's obviously a whole heap of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. Doesn't matter where you are, like with any motorsport, whole heap of stuff goes behind the scenes, and then all of a sudden it all turns up when they work out what's right and what's shit. Yeah. So I was going to do meme of the week before we do the shoot into it. Yeah, get into it. Yeah, right. I got mine here.
No one really cares about your mental health until it turns into anger and frustration. And then suddenly you are a bad person. And then people judge you.
Pretty much fucking bang on there, I reckon.
Yeah, that's just how it is.
I don't get angry.
Yeah, but it's all...
I do. That's a lie.
Yeah, but people don't notice it until you actually do. Like we bottle our shit up. Yeah, because we just try and just keep going, and then
sometimes it's easier just to stuff that shit down, get it right down into your toes, so no one finds it.
Yeah,
far down as possible.
Yeah, it is quite. It's quite difficult trying to, especially seeing your mates that are usually up and about, and then all of a sudden they're going through a shit patch, and it really knocks them around.
All right, do you want to hear mine?
Yep.
Mine's probably a little bit rude, but we'll see.
I am 100% positive that chickens have X-ray vision, because every time they look at me, they always go, "Big cock," and I'm like, "Stop! You're embarrassing me."
Oh, that's a good one.
So do you reckon they have X-ray vision?
They say it to me and it's a lie.
All right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Go for yours, Jessa.
If I remember right, this was funny.
A woman accompanied her husband to the doctor's office. After his checkup, the doctor called the wife into his office alone. He said, "Your husband is suffering from a very severe stress disorder. If you don't do the following, your husband will surely die." The doctor continued, "Each morning, fix him a healthy breakfast. Be pleasant at all times. For lunch, make him a nutritious meal. For dinner, prepare an especially nice meal. Don't burden him with chores. Don't discuss your problems with him. It will only make his stress worse. No nagging. And most importantly, make love to your husband several times a week. If you can do this for the next 10 months to a year, I think your husband will regain his health completely." On the way home, the husband asked his wife, "What did the doctor say?" His wife responded, "He said you're going to die."
Oh, that was a different one.
That's pretty funny.
That's fucking good.
Rightio.
No, I wasn't expecting that to be the punchline.
No. That was pretty good.
Righto. So we're gonna jump into some listener questions.
Play the recording.
Yeah, I reckon we'll go for the recording first.
All right, here we go.
G'day guys, loving the show so far. Controversial question for you. Rulebook wise, do you think that we should have to have either a written or online test to pass for your license in the APBA?
Maybe do your voice recordings when you're not got the exhaust brake on going down the hill in a truck. I don't know if that's what you was doing, but that's what it bloody sounded like.
Next one will come on, it'll be a bloody blinker going off.
At least in a truck you're not banging pots and pans together.
Thanks for that, Mikey. That's actually a good question.
I think everyone should know the rules, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Not all the rules, but
There's a lot
there's a lot
that's not needed to know by
but
drivers.
they can also bring out, like, say new rules come out, you've got to pass the questionnaire to go get your license, and that tells you your new rules as well. Like you get
driving rules, yes.
If all our licenses were online, you could each rule that comes, like when the new rules come out each season, they could be published there, and we can have a little question, say, these are the new rules. Have you read them? And you've got to tick yes or no to get your license.
Everyone's just going to tick it without.
Well, that's fine,
if you've got
but
a
they
questionnaire-
can't use the excuse that they weren't aware.
You could change. You could.
I like the question. I think it's good.
You could turn that around if you want to do it. Go tick a box. You could do it the way we do not we do induction, but the way I've done inductions before. And you have to watch the video.
Yeah.
So they've got you read the question out. So the video goes for 5, 10, 15 minutes, whatever it takes to do that.
Yeah.
You can't skip forward. You can't do anything like that. You've got to sit there. You can listen to it or not listen to it, and then have 5 questions.
Yeah, that would also work.
That you can't get wrong.
Yeah.
And if you get them wrong 5 times in a row, you've got to wait 5 days to do it again.
Yeah. Taking a test, I think, it could be a good idea, I suppose. I'm sort of neither here nor there. We all should know the rules. We all have rule books. It's all online. We can all read it. Well, actually, we don't have rule books, but we should have.
Yeah, but a lot of
rules,
people don't. Like I don't know it back to front.
Yeah, there's not a lot of rules that you really need to know when it comes down to racing rules. Like if you go and get one of our old rule books, they're quite thick, and you start flicking through, and you go, shit, there's a lot of stuff in here. But a lot of that stuff drivers don't need to know. It's all like the admin of the sport.
A lot of official stuff.
Yeah, so there's not a hell of a lot of racing rules. And the only time I would say most people probably refer to the rule book is if they're building a boat from scratch, they read the book and see what this type of boat must have, what sort of things you need before you even get to a race meeting. And I would say most people kind of know that stuff.
I do like the idea of refreshing everyone's.
Yeah,
I'm not talking like a 2-hour induction.
No, just like Joel said, half a dozen questions or something, and
but in the form of an induction, I think
random,
that's good.
random. So there's like 30 odd questions that you could have that are in the system, and then when you get your license, only 6 of them sort of pop up, sort of thing.
I can guarantee someone's going to say how wrong we are, and look, that's cool, but tell us in a statement.
I don't think it's that. I think it's a good scenario, and I don't think it's that wrong, because I've got to do it to go to a job site.
That's right.
That means 2 parts of fuck all to what I got to do on that job site, and I still got to know all those.
That's right.
Even if they did it that way, so you didn't answer the questions, or the questions were pretty simple ones that everyone should know if you're just a basic racer. But like you said, Joel, just have videos of stuff like. You know how we all go to the driver's brief and they give you a quick rundown of all the general rules that you're probably only really going to need for the weekend. You could do a similar thing in a bit more detail in a license situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have a licensed when you get your license, you have a video that goes for 15, 20 minutes, and you've got to watch that, and it quickly just sort of runs through all the rules and all the issues that you may have and whatnot. I think that'd be a cool idea.
Yeah, it would be. It brings up a good point. It'd take a fair bit of.
Yeah,
probably not even take that much work. It wouldn't even take that much work because every single job site's doing it, so it's not.
Yeah, you can use
overly complex.
Someone that's in our sort of system that's pretty good with technology and knows a bit about that stuff and can lean on some people that they may know.
Yeah,
to help get it organised and keep it ticking along. Like we've moved a fair way in the last sort of, I don't know,
probably 2-3 years, I suppose.
Oh, probably longer than that. Yeah, I'd say probably 5-6 years. It's been a while since I've sort of done that, but yeah, licensing now. There's a lot of places where you can get licenses online. Like I when I was racing, I could never do that.
Yeah.
So I'm coming back though, and now I'll probably do it online.
Yeah, I reckon
it's
it's a good thing. Yeah, I reckon it's a really good thing getting it online.
These days, basically, if you can't do something on your phone, you're wasting your time.
Yeah, everyone, like, I don't know anyone.
You still need to have the other options for other people that aren't sort of tech savvy and all that. But
yeah, but
I wouldn't go too far down that road. I'd go more towards the younger person's thing where you are doing it all on your phone, because that's where the sport's going to end up.
Yeah.
And the people that are, a bit older and whatever and don't sort of know how to use their phones or emails and get on the internet and do all that sort of stuff. They would know somebody that could help them.
Yeah.
They'd have a son or a daughter or a grandson, granddaughter that surely could help them out and get it done for them.
In saying that, with technology, like saying you can't go the technology route fully because of the old people, I'd go back to your old man, Nudo.
Yeah.
As he's the most technology person, fucking hates the whole works. Yeah. But he can get on our messenger and put his footy tips in.
He can do something if
he can do emails all day at work, and he will learn it in a heartbeat. He's just got to be shown or just done it, and he needs it. He'll just do it.
I didn't mean it for that reason. I mean it just in case something like that goes wrong. Like, let's just say the internet's down or something like that, or the website don't work. You need the backup forms and stuff on paper that you can have done. Yeah, I think that'd be a great idea.
Yeah.
Do we all agree that'd be a good idea?
100%. I reckon that's great.
Yeah.
Well, I reckon it should be like a similar concept to the induction, like we were saying.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you got to watch the video and then you got to answer the 10 questions or whatever they want to make it. You can't get them wrong.
Yeah.
And if you get them wrong, one question wrong, you've got to be 100% right every time. But if you get one question wrong, you got to go back and do them all at the start.
Yeah.
And if you get them wrong, say 5 times wrong, you can't do it for another day or
that's right.
a week. Whatever, just make a time
frame.
And
if you get one wrong, like you go through your 6 questions and they say, oh yeah, you got 3 questions wrong in that. Do you want to do it again? And then you just say, yeah, righto, and it throws another
random questions at you. Yeah. They always do. Inductions do that.
Yeah, that's why you'd have to have a bank of sort of 30 questions.
Yeah.
But they'd have to be pretty clear and precise too, not something that's, at the discretion of an officer of the day or something like that. It'd have to be a pretty straight up and down rule to know
100%.
that is 100% right.
Yeah. But you can also do it. You make sure you read the question. So you throw
most of the time the question will have the answer in it anyway.
No, but you throw a knot in there. So blah blah blah. You're not allowed to do this, but when you are allowed to do that or something.
That's right. If you read it wrong,
so you have to read that question
if you read
properly.
It fast, you get it wrong.
I've done that with heaps of inductions.
Yeah.
Just go, oh yeah, that's the right question. And no, that's wrong. It's bullshit.
Yeah,
and then you go back through and read it, and it's got a fucking word in there wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So that makes you just go, oh, fuck, I've got to read questions.
Yeah.
Maybe if we all agree, hopefully, we need to see what all the listeners think.
We should.
You can put a poll.
I was
going to
say do a poll. Yeah.
Yep. Put a poll up there. Should we do it or should we not? And if we get a majority of one way, maybe we should
put it forward.
Write a letter to the association.
Yeah. No, well, look, it's a good idea. I think it's a good idea. And the amount of job sites in the country that are doing it, it's such a common thing. It's not like no one's ever seen it before.
It's not a left field thing that someone's got to think about, yeah.
But how good is it to be able to remind people of what certain rules are?
Yeah. There's lots of rules in the book that, boats and stuff don't comply to, but they're not a big deal. And they're the ones that, you don't have to, racers don't actually have to know. Like it doesn't matter, whether you sell tags in the right position or you tech inspection stickers right to the left of your steering wheel or
but
something like that.
It's also
or your race
bad.
number's not the right size.
Yeah, well, I got that rule changed. It doesn't have to be the right size anymore.
Oh.
But like scrutineering even, if you put questions in of scrutineering, it'll give other people like a bit of an idea on what scrutineers got to find.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions you could use.
Yeah, I'd be a fan.
Yep.
Yeah.
Put a poll up on the socials and we'll share it around and check it out and have your vote and tell us what you reckon.
Beautiful. All right, good job.
Next question.
Rightio. So we've got Luke Harvey from up at Harvey Bay. He said, "Hey guys, can you explain the driving techniques used to get a boat around the course? How much throttle is being used compared to cav plate at different points during the lap if the conditions are ideal? Thanks, Luke." So the answer is not going to be what you think it is.
Well, it's not
varies
really
from every boat.
Yeah, it's not really straightforward. Yeah,
No.
there's different classes. Would you be different? Different boats need different things, so you probably use more or less plate depending on what sort of boat you drive.
I remember
We can
watching,
we can give a bit of an idea on what we've driven and what we've learnt.
Well, I remember watching blown boats race around, and you'd see the boats launch up in the air, coming out of the corners, and you think, oh, they've just whiskey throttled and they've not enough plate and too much throttle, and they've just launched it up in the air. But I can guarantee you, I'm not doing that. When that boat's going up in the air, I'm not just standing on the throttle. I'm trying to balance the cav gear, the cav pedal, and the throttle together. The better that boat comes out of the corner is the more throttle I've got. So if I come out of the corner and stand on both pedals, if I'm straight, if I stand on both pedals, 3/4 of the time it goes straight ahead and just wheel stands out of the corner.
I found that with the unlimited boats as well.
Yeah, if I come out of the corner and just try and cruise it and baby it, man, that thing's up and down all over the place. And it's an arsehole drive. If you're just trying to cruise, it's completely different to what you think it is.
Yeah. I found also, which is probably contrary to what most other people think, I'm probably one of the only, well, not too many people have driven something that's turbocharged and supercharged. And everyone has the opinion that the turbocharged one is easier, and I don't think it is. Like, I haven't done a lot of driving with this blown engine, but it seems way easier than that turboed engine.
You've also got,
but in saying that,
blower
the boost control's probably not as great on the turbo thing as it could be, which means, you squeeze that throttle a little bit and it snaps right into 30 pound
if
boost.
it comes on boost real hard, when you've got nothing,
could be the deal. But yeah, that thing was a lot harder to get the power down than the blown engine.
Mm-hmm.
The few test days that I've done with the blown engine, I keep saying to Dad, because Dad wants me to put more gears in it, and I keep saying, well, no, I'm not uncomfortable in it yet. So to me, it's not accelerating like it should. Mm-hmm. Because I'm expecting it to try and stand right up on the cab plates and maybe like difficult to control it, but it seems like super easy.
Yeah, well, Breton's engine, it's got bigger comp and it had a better blower on it, like a more late model blower on it. But driving Breton's engine in that boat and then straight away chucking the next time I drive it, had John Backer's engine in it, it did feel like different boats.
Yeah.
And feeling that the engine that John put in our boat, or we put in the boat that John lent us, it felt like it come on a lot nicer. Everything's a lot different, like the fuel system and stuff like that. Like firing it up, you couldn't just cruise. Like you had to. I can't remember. I remember something about him saying when you fire it up, you've got to be wide open or like a lot of throttle when it fires up, and then as soon as it fires, back it off. Well, Breton's one, you can have the thing on idle.
Yeah.
When it's in gear, you just wind it over and give it ignition, and it just fires up, cruises off. But yeah, John's one was a lot more going on.
Yeah, that could be something to do with those screw charges, which that is what mine is. So that might be why it's a little easier compared to a Roots 1. A Roots 1 might be a little more difficult. But it depends on classes too. Like I've raced all the logboats from your 5 litres, 6 litre to your unlimited, and the 5 litres they're pretty easy. You can pretty much you
can't stand on them, but carburetors you couldn't.
My one was pretty easy because I had a boat that turned really well as a 5 litre, so I'd pretty much go right into the buoy before I'd lift the throttle for a split second so the nose would go in the water, and then I was flat back into it again and just driving it around the corner and then I was sort of flat most of the time, just feathered the cab plate a little bit. When I got to 6 litre, that become a little bit more different. You backed off a little earlier, didn't use as much throttle coming around the corner, and then coming out, I didn't just jump on it either. I just sort of squeezed it the whole way. So it was like when I say squeezed it, it's gradual, but it all happens like within a second. Yeah. But instead of snapping it from half throttle to full open, like just snapping it, it was sort of a squeeze that took probably a second.
Mm-hmm.
And then the unlimited boat's kind of a bit different again. I probably do hit the throttle a fair bit harder than I did with the 6 litre. When I'm coming out of a corner, I'm holding a little bit of plate on as I'm going around the corner to keep the boat in the water. And then when I come out of the corner and it's straight, I sort of hold my plate there, and then I stab the throttle, but I only hit it to like 3/4, so the boat stands up. And as soon as it's stood up and hasn't gone too high,
that's when you start feeding.
Then I just whack the rest of it down. So it's like 2 stabs, like a 2-part stab. And as soon as I've done the second stab and it's sitting and running, I'll just whack straight off the cab plate.
Yep.
Where I wouldn't just whack straight off the cab plate with the 5 litre. I'd be flat on the throttle and just play around with that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, they're all different, and different brands of boats, different makes of hull and stuff would be all different too.
But even the same hull with someone else fitting it out, like
yeah. Well, my big boat, I'm still getting used to the cornering on that. I haven't fully worked it out yet, but I'm starting to think I'm using too much plate to go around the corner because it doesn't like it. It carries on a bit round the corner, so I'm thinking next time I'm going to
move that stop back.
No, I'm just gonna plate coming in, and then once it's started its turning procedure,
once it's bitten, then you start.
I'm going to lift right off the plate, so I've got no plate in the down going around the corner once it's sort of locked on, and then when I come out, then I'll use it again. But that's just a test. I haven't done that. I just want to see what actually happens when I do that, because I remember Dad telling me back in the day when he was driving one of the old Thurger Raisin Crafts Possessed. That's how he used to get that round the corner. He'd plate to get it to go into the corner, then he was full off the plate.
Yeah,
coming round, and then he'd barely have to use any coming out.
In the water.
Yeah. So I'm thinking mine might be something like that, because I think I might be using too much plate. It's trying to stuff the boat in the water, and it's making it unsettled.
It's probably driving more off the nose and lifting the back of the boat out of the water.
Yeah, see, some boats you can do that, like the Evercrafts, like the little 18-foot Evercrafts. You can use a fair bit of plate on them and bang them into the corner, and they'll still go around pretty smoothly.
They've got that different design across the front of the boat though too. So
it's a steeper V. It's narrower. It's smooth.
In saying that, if you don't, what I got from driving, if you don't use enough throttle through that, they'll just keep burying themselves, and you think they're going down and nothing.
Or either are they? Yeah. If you're not using enough throttle,
okay,
you could do the same thing and just lift off the plate a little bit, and you probably wouldn't
notice it. Yeah. See, when I first drove Brennan's boat, Impulse, we put my engine in it after he had a few words, and in the lake I was perfect. We were just testing back forwards, nothing. Come into a race and you got someone beside you, oh, fuck, we're going in here.
Mm.
And I was probably using too much plate, making sure I wasn't going wrong. And the nose just kept burying. I was like, fuck, I don't know, there's something wrong. And then come back out and like, you're not using enough. We changed the plates and then someone said to you, accelerating, you need to probably try and accelerate more through the corner. I was like, oh yeah, righto. And I did it and it just sat and perfect went round. I was like, oh, right, that's easy.
Yeah. I would say a lot of people, because those Evercrafts are a bit user-friendly, like I've said before, if you haven't got the setup quite right, it's the same going around the corner. Like if the setup's not quite right in one of those Evercrafts, you can still get it to go around the corner okay. Mm-hmm. Where if it's set up ideal, I don't reckon you would be burying it like that. So I reckon when you're in the 18-foot Evercraft, if you've got heaps of spray coming out when you're going around the corner because you've got the boat buried, you're using the boat to turn, not using your turn fin, where on like your child's plays or that, you'll see the best one I've seen go around like as a 6-litre is Mikey Johnson's Addicted. Mm-hmm. And you watch that thing when it goes around a corner, it's the front of the boat's not even wet. The boat's just in the water enough for the fin to be grab and hold to make it go around the corner. And that's a mistake some people do if they're used to an Evercraft and they jump in like a Brucey or a Child's Play.
Just keep pushing.
They think, I'll just keep burying the plate, and then all of a sudden the Child's Play and the Brucey boat don't handle because they don't like that because they can't be buried and then they rock and they carry on. So different boats, different things. The Brucey and Child's Play, you don't need a lot of plate to get it to stick in the corner. Yeah, and if you do, if it's not coming around the corner when you've sort of just got the fin in, you probably need to change something on your setup because you shouldn't be using the boat to get it to change direction.
You probably
should be using the fin.
In that point, we probably proved it in the Brucey. Once we worked out before we got rid of it, we had like 10 mil or 15 mil of plate travel.
Yeah, not a lot of,
Yeah, that's not much at all.
And we were up, 5 or more.
Yeah.
And I still spun it.
I remember when we got that boat of ours, we got about 12 mil travel. Now we've got about 25. You notice it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a completely different thing when you get that travel.
Yeah. That's where I think I've stuffed up on my big one.
You got too much.
I've got way too much because we adjusted all because it's all hydraulic pedal. We adjusted it all so I could use
everything.
Well, not so I could use it, but so I had the full distance of the cylinder to use if I wanted to. And I've changed the setup and I probably went the wrong way because it's given me a lot of travel and I just in the couple of testing days I've done, I just seem to be. I think I'm just using all the plate because it's there, and I think it's never felt worse turning a corner. Like when I first raced it back in 19, I think it was. I took it to the World Championships, and Friday it was a bucket of shit.
Even Saturday it was
couldn't get it to go around corners or nothing. I was dead last in hot laps, and over the weekend we just kept changing stuff, cutting the rudder, changing fins, moving things around.
You moved that shaft up the boat, the prop up underneath the boat.
Didn't you? That too. And we ended up getting the biggest somewhere competitively.
The biggest game was moving the fin backwards.
Yeah, moving the
front fin backwards.
Saturday afternoon.
Putting 2 fins under it and moving the fin backwards.
Mm-hmm. We're drilling holes.
Yeah, the fins come back a long way. Like it had like a little rebate in the bottom of the hull where the fin sat. The fin doesn't even go in that anymore. I've got a plate of steel in there just blocking that, and the fin's behind all that. We've moved it back 2 foot since where I've had it.
Wow.
That's a fucking long way.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And then it started to turn, and then the very next weekend we took it to Berry for round 2 of the world titles, and in hot laps it was 6th fastest.
Beautiful.
It was slow, like the boat only made like low 120s, 121, 122. But I could get it around the track because I'm on my own. It's a bit easier too because you can take your own sort of racing line. But as soon as I get in a race with somebody, I wasn't competitive because they were all just faster than me in a straight line. And then when they beat you to the corner, you don't get your nice clean run around the corner to make that back up. So, but yeah, I made massive improvements doing that. But now that we've changed the cab plate, I don't reckon it turns as good as it did because I'm using too much of it. So I'm gonna change that before the next test day and back it off a little bit. And try some different things going around the corners.
It is quite funny when you just said you were 6th fastest and the thing was doing no speed. One thing it's sort of come out to me, obviously from back when Dad was racing with your old man. I remember the first time I'd ever seen Truly Wicked up at Taree. Your old man come over and spoke to my old man, and he said, "We're not going to be anywhere.
I remember that.
We are doing 125, maybe touching 130 mile an hour. Like, we are just going to be doing some laps." And Dad goes, "What are you talking about? That's all I do."
Yeah. I remember that.
He's like, if you can drive it,
Yeah.
always, your dad's always been a good steerer, like, of course. But when you can drive the boat, the top speed isn't as important as corner speed.
Yeah.
100%.
I think some people at that point were making up some numbers and stuff as well that were, because they weren't that much faster than us going down the chute. Like they were in front, but it wasn't by as much as they should be doing, 10, 15 mile an hour faster than what we were doing.
I remember Dad getting told, can't remember where it was, and I'm not going to say who it was. Dad was told, "Holy shit, how fast are you going? I just pulled 145 mile an hour." And Dad goes, "I'd get that check because I pulled 132 and I just left you for dead."
We used to get the same thing when it come out.
Yeah.
How fast you on? Like, I know they're doing 140. Well, it must be doing 140.
Yeah.
Yep. But
someone come and
some
asked us
people
one
look
day.
at the wrong number. Like, you've got to look at the way a GPS works. You can go off, if you're reading the peak speed, it'll be a jump. Like, you'll have a needle in your reading. You need to read the average over that straight to actually get your top speed.
Average is a massive thing. If you can improve your average from the second you hit the throttle to the second you lift off it, that time and over that distance, that's your speed. If you can improve that speed, you've gone better, regardless of whether it's at the top end or whether it's under acceleration. From the moment you hit the throttle to the moment you lift off the throttle, time over distance, if you improve that, you're going faster.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, GPS speed is quite difficult. I know that there's the class that I come out of, 105, it's all about GPS speed, but they don't have anything else. Like, that's all what it was all about. So that you've got to set the GPS right.
Yeah.
If you don't set that GPS right, you'll pick up a lot of the spikes.
Yep.
You've got to slow that I can't remember what it was. A lot of people were setting their GPS to be picking up every millisecond or whatever.
Yeah,
you've got to bring
the
it back.
Hertz rating that it's pulling.
You've got to bring that setting right back.
Didn't know you could change that.
Yeah, you can.
If you're measuring it at like 100 hertz, that's like 100 times a second.
Yeah, and you don't want that because you want to see the actual speed, not that spike. Because people would come back and they weren't any faster than someone else, but their spike's like 5 mile an hour faster than someone else.
Yeah.
And so you've got to make sure your GPS is set right to actually get that number right.
Yeah.
I'm assuming Luke's just talking about.
I was going to say, back to the question
too.
anyway. But yeah.
I'm assuming Luke's just talking about log boats because obviously I don't know fuck all about getting hydroplane.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have a clue about a hydro or a tunnel boat.
No.
Just back off and turn, don't they?
Yeah.
Do they back
back
off?
into it?
I didn't think they backed off. I thought
you
they
still
just
got to settle the boat. Regardless, you got to settle the boat. So you got to at least back off a little bit to get back on it. Yeah.
Well,
that answered the question.
Hope we answered your question good enough, Luke.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Righto, I reckon that's about it for this week. Thanks very much, boys. Thank you very much to Brad at Contrast Printing for keeping the garage going.
Thanks for hosting today.
Yeah, I hope it didn't sound too
change.
crap.
Let us know who did the better hosting job.
Yep.
I think you did a great job, Hayden.
Thanks,
Yeah,
boys.
right.
Might be stealing my job.
Oh, we'll give Joel a go next week.
Oh, I'll probably do it.
Rightio. Thank you very much, guys. Have a great week.
See you later.
Catch you later.